Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Movie Idol. So here is another Q&A. So I know I've been pretty absent this month. I mean, the last 2-3 months actually I've been pretty absent, and it's honestly mostly because there's not a lot of stuff to talk about with The Walking Dead. I do have a lot of ideas, but I'm just kind of saving it for like this last month here. It's practically fall at this point right now. Leaves are falling off the trees. The Walking Dead is coming back in 42 days. So that fall feeling, The Walking Dead is just around the corner. I'm super excited again. So I want to start posting daily videos again on The Walking Dead to hype up the season 10 premiere because it's coming very soon. I think we're 6 weeks away, right? Yeah, 42 days, that makes sense. We're 6 weeks away. If you're new here, make sure to be a subscriber to get all my Walking Dead content. Right now, we're basically just counting down the days until that premiere. We're 42 days away, like I said. We are learning more info every single week on Thursdays. The last 2 Thursdays have been pretty, I mean, nothing has really come out, but we do have like 4 or 5 more weeks of it, right? They will start to release teaser trailers and all that as we get into September. Episode titles, synopsises, I mean, that stuff should be coming out within the next 2 or 3 weeks for sure. So like I said, if you want breakdowns and reviews of every episode and all that, just make sure to be a subscriber. And lastly, thank you guys for posting a bunch of questions. I chose 10 or so, I think, 10, 15, I can't remember. Post more questions down below and I'll answer them next week. I think what I'm going to do right now is move the Q&As to Sunday, just because that's usually when The Walking Dead would be on. But once The Walking Dead does return October 6th, I'll move them back to Wednesdays. You guys seem to really like the Q&As, and I don't know why I never did them before. But anyways, let's get into the first one. Q&A, who do you think will find out first that Rick is alive? That is definitely a tricky question, and I do think it comes down to just a few characters. Michonne, obviously, she could find out that he's alive and not tell anybody and then leave. I would hate that if that was a part of the story for season 10, but that can definitely be a possibility that she finds out, Judith returns for season 10, says, oh, we have Rick, I need your help, we need to go save him or something like that, and then she just leaves. She can't say anything to anybody because she's out of time. Judith needs to leave right now, and then, you know, it's sort of that type of story. But again, I would hate that because that's just such a rushed ending for Michonne. I don't think Michonne's going to be the first one to find out. Eugene, I think, has a very high possibility, mostly because he is screwing around with that radio, right? So there could be a way to do that. But I am also assuming with this question that that is how Michonne's going to leave, which I feel like is pretty obvious at this point. Michonne's going to leave because she finds out that Rick's alive. But assuming that she doesn't, I don't think any of the characters are ever going to find out until the final season of The Walking Dead, when Rick returns and they'll all see him there for the first time. I mean, that would be pretty crazy. It is pretty hard, I do think, playing with this idea, because if the characters find out that he's alive in season 10, what does that do for future seasons? They know he's alive, they're not that upset, and when he does return for that final season, sure, they're going to be very emotional, but it won't be the same as them finding out that he's alive right when he returns, you know? Like, they'd just be super shocked. So yeah, to answer your question, it really comes down to a few characters. Eugene, maybe Judith, Michonne, certain key characters like that will likely find out. I don't think Daryl's gonna find out first, I can tell you that. Q&A, why is Fear the Walking Dead so hard to write right now? I mean, it kind of feels boring. Weren't we supposed to find some Rick movie news in this first half? LOL. Also, will you also be doing Q&As during the season on Wednesdays leading up to the episodes? I love these videos, dude. First of all, thank you very much. And yeah, I guess I already addressed that weirdly. I will be doing Q&As on Wednesday just because I do think it would be really fun to get your guys' questions in and talk about the next episode. And the thing is about Fear the Walking Dead is I don't think it's that hard to write. That's the thing. I can think of so many ideas for them to go, for them to have their own original story, their own unique, I guess, type of show. It's not that hard to figure out what to do with those characters. What they're doing right now in the second half of season 5, I mean, first of all, I wouldn't have even done half the shit that they did in like season 4 and early on in season 5. But they have an issue right now with their characters. They're doing very stupid things with these characters. And the biggest issue is that there's no identity to Fear the Walking Dead. You're watching Morgan and Dwight because they're from The Walking Dead. You're watching Alicia because she was a part of it before. Other than that, all the other characters are just kind of there because they were there before. And even with Morgan, Dwight, and Alicia, they don't, you know, like Alicia is Morgan now, basically. She doesn't want to kill her or anything like that. It's like, why do you do that same exact story? I don't get that. Fear the Walking Dead really isn't that hard to write. You just don't do that stuff with the characters. And I mean, it's not that hard. Just take some notes from Angela Kang. I know the work she put in is probably very hard. I could never do that, but I'll tell you what, I can definitely do a better story, I think, than those showrunners can do for Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know if that's saying a lot, but I know I can do better than what they're doing. Q&A, if the group finds out that Rick is alive, wouldn't they all go? And how do you think just Michonne would find out? Well, I've already kind of answered that second part. So for the first part there, wouldn't they just all go? Well, that's the thing about it. It has to be done in a way where it's believable that they wouldn't go. You know, because obviously if they find out he's alive, they're not just gonna stay back and live happily ever after. If Michonne's going out, Daryl, Carol, all of them are like, we're coming with you, we're gonna help you, right? So somehow it has to be believable that they're all staying back. And that's why I think Michonne's gonna be leaving around episode 12. They will be in the heat of the Whisperer War, and so Daryl and them can't really leave. They need to protect Alexandria, the hilltop, from the Whisperers. Michonne can leave. She's just one person. She's saving one of their own. She'll have to say goodbye to Judith and RJ and all that, saying, I will be back. I will bring your father home, sort of thing. And so I think that's how they do it. I think you have the Whisperer threat there. They can't leave because the Whisperers are there. Q&A, if Carl was still alive, do you think he would try to kill Alpha because she killed Enid? I do think he probably would try to. That's the thing with Carl that I've always missed about the character, and I think that's what Gimple really, really got wrong in season 8. That's why I was so just ridiculously outraged about his death. It's because Carl was very much like Shane. You know, he was definitely a mix between Rick and Shane. All characters, I guess, kind of are. You know, Rick has had parts of that. In season 5, he was very much like Shane, but Carl could have grown. You know, there has been a 6-year time jump. He could be very different, but I do think Carl would want to fight back. He's seen a lot, and even if he's grown up, I mean, he would have been in his early 20s if he would have survived. It's not like he's that mature or anything like that, right? He's still a kid, so I do think Carl likely would have tried to kill Alpha and not went on that like spiritual journey where he became like a prophet in season 8, where he, you know, he was the moral compass of the show out of nowhere, where in the season 7 finale, he was like, I want to kill Negan. He never said that exactly, but that was his attitude. Q&A, do you think Ezekiel will ever have another pet similar to Shiva? And if so, would you want to see him raise a wolf? The thing about pets, I mean, first of all, a wolf, that'd be amazing. To have a wolf on the show, that'd be crazy, but that's just the thing about it, though. It's so unbelievable, and I don't like that aspect of The Walking Dead. In the comics, I think it worked because comics are like that. You can be more outrageous, but with Ezekiel and Shiva, it was just, you know, as much as I did like that part in season 7, it was very much, it was a lot, and as a traditional zombie fan, it's just a big no. You don't go into territory like that, and I think that's what turned off a lot of people. They saw Shiva, they're like, wait, what, we have a king now? We call this guy King Ezekiel and he has a pet tiger? What the hell's going on with this show? Like, they're really running out of ideas, right? Like, obviously, if they never knew of the comic material. And so Shiva, I'm glad we got that as a comic fan, but I don't want to return to any kind of pet like that in the future. Q&A, do you see the Whisperer War going into season 11? No, I don't, because I trust Angela Kang paying off this war and this drama and everything that season 9 really built to and did in season 10. If it went into season 11, I would criticize the shit out of that. Unless they changed it up and they really went into a different direction with original material. I mean, obviously I'm open to that, but no, I don't see the Whisperer War going into season 11. Q&A, do you think we will find out anything about Rick on Fear the Walking Dead? No, I think all that's done, and I'm honestly kind of annoyed at the marketing of Fear the Walking Dead season 5 because they did suggest so much that we're going to find out stuff about Rick. I mean, the showrunners even said at some Comic-Con convention or something that we will pay off that stuff that we introduced in the premiere, which I guess they were technically right about, but they definitely played into the idea that it would be more stuff related to Rick, which it really was not at all. Like, we found out, okay, she can't talk about certain things because she could die if she talks about certain things, and that was basically it for the most part. She went in a helicopter, left, and that was it. We literally did not find anything new, and I don't think there was any payoff there, any kind of worthy story to be told there. I honestly, looking back, you could have taken that whole Althea helicopter thing right out of the season, and it wouldn't have changed a thing, and it literally did not do anything to Althea. It was super pointless. I do think it was just a way to get people to watch Fear the Walking Dead because it's like, oh, we're going to have Rick Grimes stuff in this season. You take that stuff out of the season, what the hell was there for the first half? They dropped in this random area, met some people, saved kids, and left. And look what's going on now. I don't know. Movieaddle, Q&A, when do you think the Rick Grimes movie will come out, and what are your predictions about what will happen? Well, I've talked about when I do think it's going to come out, and I think it's going to come out in 2021. with them starting to film next summer for sure. But as for what's going to happen, I mean, I do want to make like a full predictions video on this once we get some more info. So maybe I'll do it later on, like in November or something like that, because I'm sure we'll find out some more info then, at least a release date or something like that. But as for what I think is going to happen in the movie, I think some basic things will happen. One, we're going to find out Rick's immediate reaction to things that have happened. I think this first movie will span a certain time period over these 6 years. Like, this is the way I'm kind of picturing it. Rick is going to wake up, you know, he'll be in this helicopter, he'll be landing, he'll be like, wait, where am I? Like, he'll be wondering, he'll be so out of it. He'll see Jadis sometimes, and like these flashes, his eyes will be opening. He'll see Jadis here and there. Then he'll see other people wearing these black suits, this and that. He eventually wakes up, and we get like this montage of his reactions, certain things that, you know, but I think he'll basically be in a prison for those 6 years and forced to work for these people. I really think that's what the movie is going to focus on. The movie will take place 6 months prior to when season 9 began or something like that. He'll have the crazy beard again. He'll try to do something with Jadis. Jadis will likely have a different haircut, and we'll solve some kind of problem. Like, who are these people? That's probably what Rick is going to deal with. Like, how do we, first of all, save the people in here? I think Rick will meet more people because he'll be like basically in this prison. He might have someone with him, which will be kind of hilarious because I think we'll look back and be like, wow, the whole entire time Negan was in that cell, Rick was as well. Rick will eventually get out or something like that will happen, and the story about 25 minutes in, 25 minutes will move forward and will basically end with the cliffhanger of maybe Michonne appears at the end, or they will definitely hint at something to happen in that second movie. So that's roughly what I think is going to happen. Q&A, if Maggie and Hershel Jr. come back, how do you think they will react to Negan getting freed? Well, they're not going to be happy. I really don't think they're going to be happy. When Maggie left Negan in that cell, she did it because he was worse than dead, and having him in that cell meant a lot more to her than having him dead, because if he was dead, there would be no suffering. Seeing him in that cell, it's like, okay, you're worse than dead, right? So to be free and for him to be all happy and everyone be okay with it, I think she's going to be pissed off. I mean, really, really pissed off. Hershel Jr. is kind of young. I think he as well will be pissed off, and I think this is why Judith and Hershel Jr. aren't going to get along. We want them to because it's a Grimes and a Ree, right? Little Rick and Little Glenn, but no, it's not going to happen that way, sadly. Negan definitely destroyed that relationship, and I do think that could play a big role into season 11, and I'm hoping we get that. So, Lauren Cohen, come back. But thank you guys so much for the questions. Make sure to post more down below. I will choose different unique questions because I realized that 2 or 3 of these questions were kind of similar. So what I will do is take questions about the Breaking Bad film, The Walking Dead Season 10, and also any other things related to The Walking Dead and just stuff like that. It can be personal questions too if you guys want to know any of that. Maybe I'll include some of that just for next week's. But post your questions down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.